Our aspirations as mankind is growing. We have begun to question ourselves and are trying to delve deep within, to understand ourselves and to grow. We want to operate out of a deep sense of purpose. We have realized that humans can alter their lives by altering the attitudes of mind. Here's an attempt to connect, share, get some of the successful people to open up and in the process learn and find the best within us. An attempt to delve into their minds, thought process and attitudes. How they think, feel, operate, and what are the habits that make them who they are. In the process, accept ourselves with all our insecurities, vulnerabilities, fears, and work towards transforming ourselves and in making ourselves our better version for today and tomorrow. I'm Satish Rao. I'm a vlogger, abundance crusader, and I'm passionate about bringing in abundance in all areas of our lives.
Hey there, welcome to yet another edition of the Abundance Show. And today we have a very interesting person here on the interview panel today here. We have Rajeev Kumar, who is actually a chartered accountant by qualification and a postgraduate in finance, comes with more than 2 decades of corporate experience heading various functions in different finance roles in some of the best companies like Times of India and Capgemini. Rajeev has worked closely with businesses and business owners from varied business sectors and help them get top-notch financial, strategic advice and operational insights. He takes charge of the finance function as a CFO and in turn frees up the business leaders to focus on what they do really good at. What they're really good at, he helps them to do that. What makes Rajeev unique is his strong business acumen. I know this, I can endorse this because I worked closely with him in one of our businesses earlier. And also makes him a favorite to business thought leaders by yet wearing the finance hat. He has this acumen about business and the finance. So Rajeev's core expertise spans across areas of finance management, business controlling, financial planning, analysis, budgeting, forecasting, process reengineering, and also performance management. His experience ranges to multiple business sectors, both in terms of service and product. He has been a speaker at various forums and mentor to multiple startups and SMEs. Rajeev has been associated with more than 100 businesses over the last 5 years, and it's a pleasure to be talking to him on this Abundance Show today. So, Rajeev, welcome to the Abundance Show.
Thank you, Satish. So nice to be here. Honored.
Great. Thank you. So, Rajeev, let's begin by asking you the typical question. What's your background, and how did you get into this concept of being a virtual CFO?
Yeah, thank you, Satish. So, basically, I've been studying in the field of commerce and finance right from my college days. Just after 10th, and I eventually did my post-graduation after my BCom and did my CA. And basically, I did from Bombay. And initially, I worked in the area, working closely with the chartered accountants, the typical practice of tax audits or corporate statutory compliance matters and all. Then I moved to the corporate world, and typically I worked there as a financial controller role, working closely with the business leadership. So after corporate experience in 2016, I decided to come to the practice, and one of the core expertise, I have 2 choices basically. When either I can go back to the typical chartered accountant's practice. The other option was for me to practice what I have earned as an experience from the industry, which is probably something unique, possibly a major chunk of my own fraternity is into typical tax practice and accounting audit practices. So I decided to move to financial controlling and virtual CFO practices. The purpose is one is, this is something you can't read from books. Yeah. You have to come out with your experience, because you have to blend your financial expertise with your business acumen. You have to earn that. So this is something which is unique, and typically I've seen that SME segment, including startups, they hugely lack the financial expertise or financial strategic expertise. So one side, I am doing a service to the society, ensuring that the huge segment of SMEs, wherever I can touch with, I can create a good amount of financial literacy so that they understand the language of business, so that their risk of failure is reduced. At the same time, I am practicing what I am happy with. I'm so happy to be a consultant CFO and a business controller. That's why I chose this.
Very nice. Very interesting. Good. So actually, this is I think when you were there for quite some time in this field, and then when you got into this, it was actually almost unheard, right? I think it was like a pioneering thinking that you had that time when you started this.
Yeah. In fact, yes, of course. I mean, it was not a very um, uh, it's not a concept which was widely known probably 5 or 6 years back, but some of my friends from my own fraternity was there in this field. I am aware of this particular field. At the same time, I think this is something globally. The virtual CFO concept was in the process of growing, but I think it is the business controlling element is something that is something which I am, wherever I am touching with, they are not very much heard about it well.
Yeah.
Some of them with the corporate experience, they are aware of it, I might say.
Yeah. Perfect. Got it. So just to elaborate on this, what do you mean by virtual CFO, and what is the role that you play in companies? Can you elaborate on that?
See, typically, I serve two segment of organizations. One is the startups, and second is the SME segment. But basically, SME is the kind of definition can be different in different areas. But when I say SMEs, the organizations which already started the journey for some years. So what the role I play is that for startups, I basically help them uh, to to create a business plan out of an idea. So I play a very strategic role, going through their business ideas and elaborate it and create a roadmap to their business, their idea with a feasible business, plan. And I support them. Some of them I handhold them to execute. And other aspect is they typically they want at some stage they are looking for funding. I help them in doing the valuations of their organizations, financial projections, long-term planning, and I help them to come out with a valuation, and also support them in creating a pitch deck, because any investor is going to look at the pitch deck with a financial eye. I mean, they are looking out for ROI and look at the financial success also. So that is that kind of a strategic role I play. For SMEs, what happened is that I come there and do a financial due diligence in terms of I do a status check, a diagnosis initially in terms of what all they can do, what are the low-hanging fruits that they have to achieve. At the same time, the long-term strategic goals have to be achieved. We validate their goals, we strategize it, create roadmaps, create business plans. We also handhold them to execute as a financial controller. So I am, for all the SMEs wherever I am serving, I am part of their management. Basically, it's I'm the connect between their financial goals and strategic objectives.
Okay. Very nice. Very good.
Yeah.
So most of these business owners and businesses say that we have a chartered accountant with us. We work closely with him or her. Why do we need a CFO? I don't think we need a CFO, virtual CFO or a CFO. So what is the line of difference between what their normal chartered accountant will do for the business and what a virtual CFO will do for them?
Yeah, I think that is one of the common probably confusion, I would say, among the business owners, small business owners. See, chartered accountant is basically a tax accountant. Let me put it that way. It's they are the people who do the audits, and they help them in accounting. It's a very respected profession, and they're very respected expertise, a very esteemed expertise, I would say. But they are external consultants to the organizations with their own expertise. But a CFO is a forward-looking person. he is also a strategic person closely associated with the business. If you are giving the strategic position to a chartered accountant, you're actually expecting a result which is different from their expertise. So CFO is an internal person, part of the board, working closely with the CEO or COO or any CXOs, and defining and validating the business strategy, creating the roadmaps, and do the performance management of the organization. And they create a data-driven strategic support to the management.
Very nice. Very nice. So that brings me to the next question. How does a company benefit by onboarding a virtual CFO like you?
See, one of the critical problems that the SME segment faces, or even the startup organizations face, is the lack of expertise and lack of science of finance management.
Yeah.
So we end up that, I mean, if you look at a typical startups, they are formed by a group of probably experts, maybe an engineers or any other experts, with sheer passion and extremely intelligent and brilliant in what they do. But what is lacking for that organization is the expertise in the different segments. Maybe the organization is small and less complex, but the expertise that is required for this kind of organization in terms of finance management or branding or innovations or training, those kind of expertise are unique segments. So a CFO who is into organization is basically helping them to have a risk management and ensuring that you have a structured finance management framework created within the organization, and also having a very strategic and crucial role in forming their objectives and creating the roadmaps and evaluating the performance year on year or time by time, month on month, so that the risk of failure is reduced to a great extent. And this was particularly very much significant in the cases where in the year 2020, where many of the companies got hit with an unexpected pandemic and market downtime situation, and the companies having this finance management and business planning and this budgeting processes and cash flow management processes, their ability to adapt to the new market conditions was faster.
Yes.
And was better, and they could survive, and they could clearly manage quickly. They got adapted to the new situations, and they could survive it. So the objective, if you tell me what is the objective of a CEO, the CEO's objective is to capitalize the market when the time is best, and also to sustain and survive when the time is bad.
Yeah.
A CFO has to work very closely with the CEO to obtain this.
Wow.
Or if the CFO is absent in the boardroom, I fear that it is a very difficult situation for a CEO to achieve their objective.
Yeah, very true. So any positive experiences in the past that you can share with us about the businesses with which you have been associated?
Yeah, I mean, I must say that many of my clients could actually successfully come out of the COVID pandemic situation. Two large organizations actually came out profit, with profit, and without compromising. And of course, their revenues will be down because of the situation, but they could effectively manage the cash flow. And many of the startups could take. So we had implemented a COVID strategy. There were the few items that we have to execute as a immediate measure on a Watford basis. It was effectively done, and I think it was very successful journey to go through. Though it's an unfortunate market situation, for me personally, it was very heartening to see that the companies could manage well even during the pandemic situation.
Wow, very nice. So personally for you as a virtual CFO, how has the pandemic actually changed your business style or your work style? How has it affected your style or changes in your thing?
Yeah, I think the SME segment, what happened, one of the issue is, since the management is very personally connected, you always wanted to be in person to deliver to be with the client. That was the situation earlier, and embracing the technology, just like the video conferencing and all, was not something which was a preferred option. I must say that I was out of town for around 8 months after the lockdown. I was in Cochin,
Right.
and I could successfully serve my large clients by sitting in Cochin. And I think the receptiveness of this technology was huge there. So, and it created a new trend.
True.
And for me, I think there was a lot of organizations came and started discussing that what to do during this situation, because many of them were clueless, and because a lot of rumors around, you don't know how long this is going to go,
Hmm.
and when the market is going to come, how can I come out with the situation, how to tackle the banks, how to tackle the vendors, how I can get the cash faster from the customers,
Hmm.
how I can reduce the recurring expenses. So there are a lot of things. And so I think what happened is during the pandemic, one of the good thing is that we opened a new uh, office in Cochin
Wow.
with few partners. So we
Yes.
started
Congrats.
organization in Cochin with so that was good then. But client perspective, I must say that uh, clients actually understood the importance of implementing technology during pandemic. Not only the video calls and all, but also in terms of your ability. You have to have the ability to control your workforce remotely. You need to have the ability to get your dashboards on your mobile, and you need to have a proper ERP or systems. Your management information system has to be strong. So I think a far better acceptability towards technology in the SME segment is what I have experienced during pandemic situation.
Wow. So true, so true, so true. Because basically, whatever has been stressed by CFOs, consultants like you, and my coaches was to put systems in place. You know, whatever the
Yeah,
situation, whether the business is doing well or struggling, systems are of primary importance for one to grow and scale up. And I think
absolutely.
we have all realized the importance of that in this kind of situation, where
Yeah,
remote working, where there's clear defining of what are the roles of people, what are the responsibilities of people, not like the in a kind of attitude where there is no clarity to anyone as to what each person is doing. So more and more clarity about what roles people are doing, what systems are in place, how is the reporting structure, all of those, the importance of that was really highlighted in this pandemic situation. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, in fact, one of the thing is that when you have a situation that you are working from home,
Hmm.
I mean, your ability to manage and track the accountability, I mean, the execution against the accountability that each of the people have,
Yeah.
you will create. I know. I think necessity is the mother of invention, right?
Yeah.
So you have the necessity. You have no option, but you have to deliver. You have a client delivery. You have to execute things, even if the people are working from home. You have to devise your own mechanisms to to track it and deliver it appropriately, and even to plan it. I have situations where people are sitting in Bangalore and coordinating with 14, 15, or I mean, I'm telling about the SME segment,
Hmm.
14, 15 members across three or four countries. Even in the SME segment, which was actually a case we experienced in the large companies like Infosys or TCS or Capgemini or those kind of people. But even the SME segment started doing that in a very effective way. Um, that's what I could see. And in turn, the facility cost is going to be, has come down drastically. So
True.
good movements. Everything is good.
Very nice.
Very change is good. We need to see that.
You just have to embrace it, accept it, and go on.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
True.
Change. You can't blame the change, because that is a natural force that brings the change, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So how fast you are able to adapt is going to decide your fate.
Yeah. Yeah, and most of the times, what you think is a disadvantage is actually a time for us to reinvent ourselves and know what we are really capable of. Actually,
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, see, one of the when you suddenly find a factor that okay, in the month of April or May of 2020, you suddenly decide that a lot of consultants like me, you will find a lot of businesses closes down, no business closed down, and you suddenly realize that okay, there are few clients, they are suddenly their revenue stopped, they want to stop your consulting for some time, you need to suspend it. But what happened is that you were serving a few clients because the geographical barrier was very strong before pandemic.
Yeah.
Now, since even if I am sitting in Bangalore at my office, the client which is situating probably 2 kilometers away, I am still serving them through video calls.
Yeah.
So, what is the difference between a client sitting, no, 2 kilometers away or 2,000 kilometers away? So, the geographical barrier has gone.
True.
So, when suddenly because of a market situation, some opportunities closed, you have larger opportunities opened.
True.
So even there is no barrier for geography in terms of countries or your states. You can serve anyone.
Yeah. Very well
It
said.
is for everybody. I believe it is for everybody.
True. True. Very true.
Yeah.
So Rajiv, what do you see the future for yourself and for the work that you do?
See, I have in my own organization is moving from virtual CFO role. This is one segment, that is one vertical that we have. We have other verticals like enterprise value creation. We are associating with multiple uh, uh, professionals, not necessarily finance professionals. We have an organization called Plus Metrics. We are into enterprise value creation, helping the organizations to grow substantially. So, for example, if you have an organization today with a say 20 crore valuation today, I'm telling valuation just as a measure of the size or kind of a value in the market, and your goal is something to reach up to say 500 crores in a period of 7 or 10 years. We are the people who come here and then validate your goals. The goals are good. Validate your products or services, and validate your ambitions, your markets, and we strategize that roadmap. We open an executive office in your organization, work as a board of advisors, take it to the next level, and handhold to reach to that particular level. The fact is that if this team is not there, probably your ambition will still, I mean, not necessarily, your risk of not achieving that ambition can be high. So that is what so we are doing this profession through Plus Matrix, and I have an organization in Cochin as Caplink. Our goal, I mean, the next level is that we have to support at least 100 large SMEs, so in the range of 50 to 100 crores turnover in the next 3 to 4 years is what we are trying. We are also
Wow.
trying up with bigger plans in terms of advising larger units, not necessarily to serve, but come up with tips uh, to support their growth. So we want to influence maximum people in the SME segment so that the wastage of money, the risk of losing the capital has to be reduced, because this is one of the largest segment in India in
Yeah.
terms of employment, in terms of contribution to GDP or exports in manufacturing, and with the self-employment which is on a high time hit in the market through startups and all. I think this is a virtual CFO role is a very significant role which I want to play a crucial role there.
Very nice. Very good. Yeah. So I think these kind of roles and these kind of consultancy that you are giving, both in finance and other fields as well, are very, very crucial for companies, because SMEs definitely cannot afford to have, neither will they have the understanding that they need to have an expertise like that. So I think it's more and more important for people like you to pitch in and talk about your expertise and how you can help them to grow, and scale up.
In fact, absolutely. In fact, what I do is that for an SME, my role is that I need to exit in 18 to 24 months.
Wow.
So my role is to come there, get into the organization, create the roadmaps, support them in creating the systems and processes, create the business plan, and coach the organization, improve the financial literacy of the management, and make them self-sufficient to run. And I have to be redundant in the organization in 24 months. Then I need to come out. So that organization run by itself with the process and systems. Of course, they have to go for the next level. I know that, but that is the goal that which I keep for when I enter into an organization.
Very nice. Very nice. So Rajeev, what is the advice you'll give to people from finance domain, the experts in that domain, who are actually currently employed in companies and working for companies?
Yeah, I think so. One of the critical evolution of the financial role is your ability to connect to the strategic objectives. So if you look, the finance role is considered as probably your primary role is to support the business to go up. I know that the accounting function has its own its own need and necessity in an organization to be a core accountant, but I think the new evolution is that a CFO is actually the person who is most eligible to be a COO in an organization. So should be a thing. I mean, I agree. Some of the very top-notch people, finance professionals have moved to COO level, and so because of their involvement in the strategic and operational and business activities in the boardroom was so high, and they could develop that business acumen. I would suggest that every finance professionals has to put some thought process of that sort in their in their profession, and anything which is process oriented may get extinct over a period of time. And there is a there is saying that the normal accountant, and there is something normal for a normal accountant and dinosaur. This is because both extremes. So I mean, some point of time, I think the business support role, business controlling role, is something that will contribute hugely to that segment, which is essential, and it gives a lot of satisfaction to that level.
Wow.
So think out of accounting framework, think out of debits and credits, and think about finance management, then about financial controlling, then business controlling, and then you can drive the business too.
Wow, well said. So well said. And I think one's relevance, whether one is in sales, marketing, or finance, or anything, is actually not just that core domain knowledge that you have or the skill set that you have. It always in terms of applicability of that to the business that you're in. So you have brought that point very beautifully there, Rajeev. Very nice. Very good.
Yeah.
Good. So Rajeev, anything else in the end you would like to say, a message to the viewers? Anything you would like to say?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I mean, it's so. Thank you, Satish, for bringing me here, and I'm telling all these things as an addition to their accounting function. I mean, I'm telling with a huge respect to the accounting function, and I know that the institute and different accounting firms, whether it is a cost accountant or chartered accountants or other, but it is look beyond boundaries. Is what I would suggest, even to the finance professionals. It's a very noble profession, I believe.
Nice. So Rajeev, it was a pleasure talking to you. All the very best to you and the virtual CFO work that you do, and more strength to your tribe, and the overall acumen and the strategic inputs that you give to the businesses. All the very best to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Satish. Thank you.